Corporate greed and financial instruments, understanding the hidden game. Explore how corporate greed shapes financial instruments, impacts economies, and why knowing the system matters to everyday people. How corporate greed shapes financial instruments, and why it matters to you. You ever get the feeling that sometimes the system isn't exactly built for us regular folks? Like there's this hidden layer where money moves around in ways that don't quite make sense, and a lot of it is driven by corporate greed. I was thinking about this recently, especially when it comes to financial instruments and how companies keep stacking the deck in their favor. So, let's talk about it like I'm explaining it to a friend over coffee. First off, what are financial instruments? At the basic level, these are contracts or assets that represent money or ownership. Stocks, bonds, derivatives, and options are all examples. Sounds straightforward, right? But here's the kicker. These instruments often become tools not just for investment, but for power plays and profit maximization by large corporations. And sometimes it feels like everyone else just gets left out. Take derivatives, for example. On paper, they're supposed to help businesses and investors manage risk. Let's say a farmer wants to lock in a price for their crops before harvest to avoid losing money if prices drop. That's a very sensible use. But on the flip side, derivatives have been used in some crazy complex ways by financial institutions to essentially gamble huge sums of money. And when these bets go wrong, guess who usually gets hurt the most? Regular people and taxpayers. And it's not just finance companies. Big corporations across industries utilize these instruments to move money around in ways that often dodge regulations or taxes. This is where corporate greed really shows, using loopholes and clever strategies to amass profits and, frankly, to avoid paying their fair share. Now, you might have heard some of the untrue allegations floating around about government conspiracy theories making this all worse or being behind the scenes manipulating everything. While those can be entertaining and sometimes distracting, the real story is more mundane but important. Corporate greed mixed with a financial system designed by and for the powerful. That combination alone is enough to keep wealth concentrated at the top. Consider pharmaceutical companies. Their profits have soared in recent years, partly due to patent laws and pricing strategies that lock out competition. These companies use financial instruments and market power to keep prices high, which ties back to the broader picture of corporate greed. It's not necessarily some shadowy conspiracy. It's a rigid system where the profit motive often outweighs public good. What's striking is how often this behavior goes unchecked, despite public outcry. Regulatory bodies exist, sure, but their enforcement can be soft, especially when lobbying and corporate influence come into play. This, in turn, perpetuates the cycle, allowing some companies to thrive while others, including everyday consumers, struggle. Financial instruments can be tools of empowerment or exploitation, depending on who controls them. Corporate greed fuels these exploitative practices, prioritizing profit over ethics and fairness. The system's complexity serves as a shield, making it tough to hold corporations accountable. At its core, understanding this dynamic helps make sense of why economic inequality keeps growing. Money isn't just about numbers on paper, it represents power. Power over politics, over markets, and over people's futures. For those curious to see how similar themes of greed, manipulation, and power struggles play out in a gripping story format, I recommend checking out The Ultimate Frame. This thrilling novel by Andrew M. Semple weaves in all these ideas through an intense narrative that keeps you hooked. It's a great reminder. Sometimes fiction can reveal truths about society better than any report or essay. Discover this thrilling novel by Andrew M. Semple today. You'll find a compelling tale that entertains while shedding light on some tricky aspects of capitalism and power that affect us all. So yeah, next time you hear about a new financial product or a massive corporate profit headline, remember, there's often more than meets the eye. And it pays, literally, to know the game being played. Hopefully, conversations like this help more people feel empowered to ask questions, demand accountability, and maybe, just maybe, push for a fairer system. All right, that's enough ranting for now. Thanks for listening.